Welcome to video number 11, and in this video what I'm gonna go through is there's a bit of fine-tuning left on the boss, and then we're gonna give him collision capsules that are gonna damage our knight character, our warrior. And I realized that there was one more thing that I needed to add on the melee class, so I will be making an extra melee video. And it's not an optional one, you need to watch it because otherwise you won't be able to complete the whole game. So be sure to watch the next extra video, and it's going to be called Melee Combat. So let's continue with our boss here. So go in the boss blueprint, and if you notice my graph here looks a bit different than yours probably. That's because I expanded this switch on integer and I added more combos in there. I just made more anim montage, and everything else is pretty much the same. And here I switched for player distance function. This was set to 1, I put it to 3 because I don't want my boss to attack too often. The little fine-tuning aspect is here, face player. We're gonna call this in the boss's animation. So I'm just gonna do a few of them, or maybe I might do all of them. So for example, if I go into the Hadouken one, here when he's charging, it's for certain you're going to be able to dodge. So let's say at this point he looks at the player and then he fires it. So I'll make a new notify and I'm going to call it face player, same title as our custom event. Then let's say I'll put one here too, and I have animation trails in mind, so you probably don't have them in yours. Let's say here I could add a face player, and then all his melee attacks. This one I'll leave it. Anything with one hit I won't make him face the player in them because I don't see the point, it's just one hit. But like a big hit like this where he holds a little bit, here I can add a face player. And these combos too. Let's say halfway through the combo, he can face the player. If you don't have these anim montage made, you can do them on your own. I just wanted to have them all in. This one too, multiple attacks. Later when we refine him further, what I'm gonna do is these attacks where he strikes the player multiple times, well, they're only gonna be accessible to him when he's a bit lower on health, and we'll make them do more damage too. And this is my favorite one, Street Fighter kick. So I probably want him to face player then launch, so it's a really scary looking attack. It's gonna face player right before each launch. This was called Hurricane Kick. The clip. This will be his ultimate attack. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go into his animation blueprint, and I'm gonna go get that notify called face player. And I forgot to comment this, so I'm gonna call this launch, and I'll get the custom event called face player. I'm gonna comment this and call it face player. So with that out of the way, what we can here, I'm just gonna do a quick demo to show you what I did, and I'll end the video segment for this, and we'll continue on with the next. So as I approach him, see, he turned in the middle of his attack, There, he turned like that. So it's a bit more dangerous for me. So the less face players I put, the easier it is, because I can stay behind him and keep attacking him. But this just makes it more challenging. It tells me to dodge more. And I sped up my dodge animation, because the other one I found it was too slow. Just for gameplay, I know it doesn't look so real, a guy in heavy armor. So we'll continue on with the next segment on the boss. In this segment, I'm gonna continue working on our boss. So in my blue boss character blueprint, let's go to his viewport, and I want to take off his animation blueprint. So I'll put it to none and I'm gonna compile. Next, I'm gonna get capsule collision, and I'll call this right fist. I'll duplicate this and call it left fist. Now take both of them and drag and drop them under mesh. So here we can have access to the sockets. This is right fist, so I'm gonna get right hand right there. And for left fist, I'm gonna go get left hand. I'm gonna zero out all these values up here. And I'm gonna adjust these fists, these capsules properly. And I'm gonna scale them up too. Right now I'm gonna leave them quite big, so if this overlaps the player it can hurt him, but later when it's time to adjust it a bit, I'll do it then. Okay, now in this capsule you can type in collision and you're gonna see custom presets, collision preset, sorry, set it to custom, and then put it to no collision. Do the same thing for the other fist. So put it to custom and then no collision. Then we're gonna go in his event graph, and I'm gonna comment this too. This is my close range attacks, and these are my long range attacks. So I know the code that follows, it's about that. Okay, now what we need is something that enables and disable the collision on these two. So select these, and you want to get both. Drag a wire route, type set collision enabled. Copy paste that. Now the top one we can put it to collision enabled and the bottom one to no collision. Let's make two custom events. We'll call this left fist, actually call left fist, enable collision left fist, and then this one we're going to call it call right fist. I might put another underscore so it's easier to read. Remove the word copy. Okay, now that we have this, and actually yeah, we're gonna need more of these. Actually, disconnect left fist, copy paste both of these, connect left fist, so this is enable collision left, enable collision right. Now we need to disable the collisions too. So you could copy these two custom events and paste them, connect them to the ones below, and then we're gonna change their names. So you want to remove the word copy obviously, and change E to D for disable. So now we have events that can be fired to turn those collisions on and off. I'm gonna comment this. I'm gonna call it fist collision E/D for enable and disable. One more thing, go back to viewport, click on the capsule for right fist, and you want to type in collision again. Here it says object type world dynamic. We're going to change this later when we're dealing damage. Put everything to ignore, but put vehicle to, actually put pawn to overlap, put vehicle to overlap, and put destructible to overlap. Do the same thing for left fist. So put everything to ignore except for pawn, vehicle, and destructible. We're going to leave those on overlap. Next thing we're going to do is go back to his event graph. I'm just going to move this to the side. I'm going to make a bunch of print strings. And what these are going to do, they're going to tell me when the fists are getting turned on or off. So I'll say E right and then D right for disabled right, and right will be red and blue will be left. Actually, I'll put it yellow and red. Yellow when it's on, red when it's off, and this one green when it's on and blue when it's off. This is D left and this is E left. Now to get this working, I'm only gonna do it for I guess the first three. Montage these three, and you guys can do for as many as you have placed. So going into, okay, Unreal froze. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the video segment and I'm gonna continue. I don't know why this happens a lot. Okay, so I realized the animation blueprint sometimes goes haywire for some reason when there's a tab on it. So I reconstructed everything pretty much, and here I don't know if I put a animation blueprint on him again, but I'll leave that there and I'm gonna save that. So in the event graph, this is what I had set up. I kind of changed the names a little bit just to hurry up and continue on recording. And now we're gonna need to go into the animation blueprint, which hopefully, yeah, it didn't crash. So let's go into, I had mentioned, oh boy, I hope it doesn't crash again. Anyways, let's go after this, melee 01. Let's open that up. So his right hand I want to enable right there. So add notify, we're gonna say E right and then D right. While we're here, let's just make some more notifies. E left and D left. These are just for his fists. So I'm gonna delete these two because I only want the right one. So it gets enabled, it lands, and it gets disabled again around here. It may be a good practice to make sure it's disabled. So you start with disabled, enable it, and disable it once more. Now I'm gonna go get strong 01. And I'm gonna add the same types of notifies. Now this time it's this left hand. So I need to enable, not even here, approximately here. So enable the left, the action is done, disable it. I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna paste it at the start. Now let's go after the next one. Kicking. Okay, this is a a different one because he utilizes his feet. So basically what I did with the arms, where I attached capsules and I'm enabling and disabling them, you would do the same thing with the feet. Because he's not attacking with his hands really, it's with his feet. But what we can do is we can kind of cheat this. Although I recommend you do that with his feet, I'm gonna enable and disable his hands because they cover a large amount. So yeah, I guess the capsules are enabled and then they're gonna get disabled right here. So I'm gonna disable left and disable right. But I'm gonna copy these. Actually, I'm gonna go one by one. Copy, paste, copy and paste. So that's out of the way. I don't need to enable or disable here. The next thing I need to do is click here and let's check the events. On component begin overlap. I need one of that, and I also need it for the right fist. On component begin overlap. Now we're going to take care of this in the next segment when we add to it, but in the meantime let's just test out and make sure the animation is triggering the fists on and off. Hopefully he's going to play the animation because I have so many. If it doesn't, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to set it up for all of them and then we'll test out again. Okay, one more shot. Okay, I'm going to pause the video and I'll set it all up. Okay, so I finished up setting up all the montage. So let's see. Oh right, missing another crucial step. I hate when I forget things like that. There's just so much going on in this. Here, we're missing E right, D right, E left, and D left. Okay, now I'm gonna go get, I'm gonna type in equal left, equal right. I'm basically calling the events I made earlier. I'm gonna get decall left, decall right. So decall right is here, equal left right there, equal right is up here, and the last one down here. So I'm going to comment this too. Fist call for collision, and I'm just going to save this and press play. There you go. All these colors are appearing. Things are getting turned on and off as collisions, they're getting triggered. So I'm going to stop this segment here, and the next segment we're going to make it detect the player. Alright, so for this segment, let's start by going to the Blue Boss blueprint, and in fist collision. Look at what I wrote. Fist collision. I'm going to delete all the prints. Next, we had made these two boxes earlier. In other character, I'm going to type get class. Oh, actually, I'm going to type in, let's see if this might work. Just type equal and then type get player character. And put two branches. And connect the condition. I don't know if I could do it for both. Yeah, you can. So if it's true, you print left player. That's because the left fist is overlapping the player. and then here right player, and right will color it red. So if this doesn't work, I have another method to try. Now let's go and get hit by that guy. Oh, look at that, it detected me. Just to make sure that it really is working, I'm gonna go into warrior. And I'm gonna make a custom event that I'm gonna delete later, but this is for test. Let's call it custom event here. So this custom event, we're gonna call it, I don't know, test. And let's print. I'm gonna call it I'm hit. So I could delete these two print strings from the blue boss blueprint. And here in get player character, I need to do get class. And then I'm gonna type equal equal from this. I might not even need this actually, I don't know what I'm doing. Actually no, I know what I'm doing. Hang on. Here we're gonna type in warrior underscore BP and connect to both of these. The reason why you're doing this is because later you're gonna have a mage character. So when it's warrior, well, you're gonna trigger something in the warrior, and if it's mage, you're gonna trigger something in the mage. Drag another pin from here and type cast to warrior. Plug this into true, and you wanna copy paste that. Plug that into true. Then we made an event called test. You want to get that for both. You could have two events, one that says I'm hit with left fist, I'm hit with right fist, but I'm just gonna do this. Okay, let's let him beat us up. Oh, nothing. Ah, there you go. Just took a hit. I think it's only one of his fists that's doing it. And the reason being, it's probably because... Nope, it's not this. Or maybe we should do two events, just to be sure shot about this. Let's copy this. So test copy, and I'm gonna color it red. Type in test, get test copy, and hit play again. Okay, well, it looks like one of his fists isn't working. So that's something to troubleshoot. It's probably this other class right here. Other class. There, now it works. That's what was needed. Now he's hitting me with both of his fists. So you really needed to get this other actor here and connect this together. This thing looks like a mess, but let's clean it up. I can also delete these two test events. by the end of this, you're gonna have wires everywhere. Well, these look nice, but not these guys. So actually, I'm just gonna leave those test events on for now. We'll get rid of them when the time comes. So that's it. That's kind of it for this segment. One more thing you might want to do is in variable, create two variables. Call this min dmg, and make another one, call it max dmg, and convert both of them into floats. What we're going to do with these is set up the minimum damage and maximum damage for each attack. So if I move all this to the side, both of these variables are going to be set right here, right after launch force. So you could set min damage and set max damage, unless you just want your attack to do, let's say, 20 damage at each time. But if you wanted to do between, let's say, I don't know, 18 and 24, well, this is the method to go with. Otherwise, you only need one variable, and that variable could be called damage, but I always like to go with two. So sometimes you don't know how much you're going to get hit by. What you do after is basically input the values. So I'm going to stop the video segment here, and I'm going to continue doing this grunt work. And in the next video segment, I'm going to see what else we're going to refine on him. To finish this video, we're going to be doing some sphere tracing. This is so we can, every time we get hit, we can spawn a sprite or a particle. So I'm going to start by making the particle first. I'm going to duplicate. If you go into starter content, and it says right here, starter content, particles, take p explosion and duplicate it. We'll call it p underscore fist sprite. And then in here, take off fireball, spark, firelight, smoke. In fact, you could just delete these, because for this we won't be needing them. Then right click and go color, initial color, put it over color over life and uncheck it. So now this thing is white. Now what we can do is we'll save this, and let's go into blue boss. Here in the overlap, by the way, see this? That's what we're going to be making. So I'm just going to leave it on the side as a reference, but I'll remake it with you guys. So these are the event begin overlap. I'm just going to disconnect this stuff, and I'm going to delete test copy. I'm going to go into warrior blueprint in the event graph and delete the events from here too. Just going to compile, save this, and save the boss. Now you have to go into your anim montage. Let's say you go into melee 1. Now I need to make 2 anim notifies. I already made it right here, but that's because I placed it in all of the animation notifies, so it took a while, but this is a good one. So for example, you have L trace, you need R trace and L trace. These are 2 notifies that get triggered. For example, let me show you something that looks like a total mess. Yeah, that's here, this one. So here's the animation. Now look at the notifies. It's a total mess right here. What's happening is, you see where it says L trace? This is where it's gonna fire a sphere and check if there's a character in front of it. If the player is in front of it. If it is, it's gonna spawn a hit sprite. And then you see the next one here, R trace. Well, check this. So right here, it's gonna fire another one straight and check if there's something here. If there is, and it's the player, it's gonna spawn a sprite. So I put a bunch of those, and this stuff you see here, it's enable, disable collision, all this stuff. So it's a multiple hit attack. Now let's go back into the boss blueprint, and here I made trace right and trace left. So I'll make new custom events just for the tutorial. Right click and type in custom event, and let's call it r_trace, and copy paste it. You want to call this one l_trace. Once your animation notifies are done and you made those two custom events, go to your boss's animation blueprint and go and call those two animation notifies. So it was r_trace and l_trace. Then we're gonna go get those two custom events we just made, and it was r_trace and l_trace. I'm just gonna disconnect the pin and connect the right ones together. So I got r_trace up here and l_trace down there. I'm gonna call this fist tracing. I'm gonna close the animation blueprint because it's known to do evil things to Unreal and crash for some reason. Now coming back here, I won't work on the left one, I'll work on the right one first. So type in sphere trace by channel. So here what I need is first off, oh, not by channel, sorry, it's sphere trace for object, that's the one. Now here where it says object types, you drag this and make array, select pawn. Then in radius we'll put 64. We'll connect these together, and in out hit, we break the hit result, put a branch, and where it says hit actor, type in equal twice, and then type in get player character, plug that in right there, put it into the condition. Then what you want is spawn emitter at location, and you want to get, type in fist and you should have it fist sprite. You want to spawn this, and you want to spawn it at the hit location. Rotation, I'll leave it to 0, but if it doesn't look good then we'll change something up in here. Now the next thing is this. So you're gonna copy paste that code, and I'm gonna explain it. And so first you get, this is right trace, so we're gonna get right fist, and from it you need to drag a pin and type in get world location. That's what this is, so that's out of the way. Then you need to also get world rotation. Okay, so this is out of the way. Next you drag a pin from here and type in get forward vector, which is right here. And what you want to do is multiply this by float. Okay, so that's out of the way too. And then this a vector plus vector node. So you connect these two together. This goes to the end and this goes to the start. And I think our chain is pretty much completed. And here you can type in, I don't know, let's try with 1000, and debug type for duration. So this is just for the right fist trace. So we can copy paste this whole code and call it for the left fist. I'm going to delete my old one. I'll move to the side here. So let's play and give that a shot and see what happens. I'm just gonna run into him and let him hit me. So you see that the green ones are hits, the red ones are miss. But this is going really far. And look, the sprites are appearing too. So what I'll do is, here I can reduce this to, I don't know, maybe 300 will do. This you just play around with whatever satisfies you. And when you're going to have actual characters in there, in the animation, make sure that the landing point, at least one area where they're pointing straight in front of them, and that's where you want to get the trace from. Like this guy, it's going to be all over the place. Some of them are going to be flying back like that, you see? You don't want that, you want them all going in the front. And if I turn off debug and set it to none, you're going to see all the hit sprites appear without all the messy lines. If that's too big, well, you can always set the scale of the hit sprite. And I think it was set world scale 3D, and you could just set that to, I don't know, 0.4. You do it for this one too. Yeah, there you go. So this pretty much ends this video, and in the next one, you know, every time I have to make a next one, I'm not too sure what I gotta do, so I gotta plan a bit, and then I'll see what it is that I'm gonna cover. Perhaps we'll work on his abilities, like debuffing the player, or maybe his ultimate. That'd be a good one, to make him use his ultimate when his health is low. So we're gonna do some damage to this guy too, but maybe not with our attack combos, with just the click of a button, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.